Hey guys, this is John Karabi from the Dead Daisies, and you're listening to Rock On Radio. Turn it up!
All right. John Karabi, the Dead Daisies, bringing us in tonight. Hello, everybody. It's Sunday night. It's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are in beautiful, lovely downtown Hightstown, New Jersey, and we are live, Rock On Radio on COARadio.com and SocietyBitesRadio.com. I am your host, Danny Coleman. I am joined by Engineer Art in studio.
Woo!
And
You still haven't woken up.
I still.
No. He's got his coffee.
and Claire.
Howdy.
I think that's how I'm going to introduce you from now on.
Just Claire?
Claire. So you sound all mysterious.
Wow. Do I have to talk like that too?
No, just
Oh,
keep
thank-
bringing chocolate and we'll be good.
Okay.
Our chocolate lady and religious advisor on the show that does not discuss religion,
That's right.
Chocolatey Claire.
Makes it easy.
There you go. Rock On Radio is sponsored by Neo Zoe Health and Wellness Center of Cranford, New Jersey, Rich Shalanda's Flying Dreams, and by Zen Archer Hot Sauce, our good buddy D.L. Byron of Zen Archer Hot Sauce, the only radio program sponsored by a Grammy Award-winning hot sauce maker.
Yes. Or so you say.
I've got the hot sauce. It's at the ranch.
It's like invisible hot sauce.
DL, send more hot sauce so that they'll leave me alone. They all don't believe there's hot sauce, even though I
Nope.
brought it in here.
Once. It was a handwritten label.
He brought an empty bottle.
He did. He could have done it himself.
Here,
You have
lick
no
the-
idea.
Lick the cap. Is that what
All my listeners out there, all two of you, my, do you see how I'm treated?
Aw.
One of them was my mom, so
That's good. All moms should listen.
all moms should listen.
That's right.
Who else? Oh, Eileen Sullivan, actress,
Yes.
and Jodie
Jodie
Weber, CPA,
Mhm.
sponsor Rock On Radio.
Woohoo.
If you want to reach out to us this evening, you can do so by dialing 609-241-7103.
You're making so much noise. That
Yes,
was you.
Mom. 609-241-7103. Or you can follow us on Facebook if you go to Danny Coleman's Rock On Radio 2, the number 2, facebook.com/Danny Coleman's Rock On Radio 2. Or Twitter and Instagram are both at Rock On Radio, all one word, all capital letters. Again, if you want to call in and have questions for our very, very good rock and roll type guests this
Mhm.
evening.
Very.
We have how is it, Joe? What is it? The most famous anonymous rock star you'll ever meet.
No. You'll never meet.
We have Joe Sarasano and Charlie Cass. Both of you have been here before, yet you've agreed to return. I like that. Yeah, come closer. Okay, closer.
Yes, come.
Closer.
See you those days.
That's all right. I bust this place up every week. Don't worry. Again, if you want to give us a call, you can do so at 609-241-7103. Or you can watch this madness on YouTube.
And I fixed the sound, so it actually sounds better.
Nice.
Nice. So
It's actually tolerable to watch and listen.
how can they access the
If you go to coaradio.com, you'll see right on the right-hand side, there's a YouTube link. When you go there, it will hit you right in the face.
there
Yeah,
we
how
go.
come you're not on the YouTube video? I just want to point that out. You are out of camera range.
It's good to be the king.
Yeah, I noticed. We're like the mice in like the maze, and he gets to like
Eat chocolate and stay out of the picture.
stay out of the picture. Do whatever he wants over there.
Great.
I've noticed that.
We are also expecting a call very shortly, actually, from our good friend of this program, Jan Close. Jan, who is Jan, hither and Jan, is who I speak about when I, the one time I got to jam with Gary Hoey one day at the Stone Pony. And Jan was on, it was me, Jan, Gary Hoey, and some kid we forced to play bass. I don't even know who the kid was. I mean, he was in some cover band. It was at a benefit for Epilepsy Foundation in New Jersey. Gary was a headliner. He's like, find us a bass player, we'll jam. I was like, you. It was so funny. When I first looked at the kid, I said, you want to play bass with me and Gary Hoey? He's like, yeah, right. He looked at me like, yeah, all right, old man, get out of the way. I'm like,
Oh, really?
yeah. I'm like, no, seriously, do you want to? And I said, I'm not kidding. It's your last shot. And he's like, seriously? He's like, Gary, can this kid play bass with us? He's like, sure. The kid was like, he had to be a big Gary Hoey fan. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. But Jan joined us on stage, and he should be calling because he's got a brand new single he's releasing called Love High. So we'll get to that. I know he's in the studio today. He's got a show coming up at the Cutting Room in New York. So, but until he does call, there
he is, on cue.
On cue, on time. Hello, welcome to Rock On Radio. Hello.
Danny.
Hey, there he is. We were just talking about you.
What's up?
We were just talking about you, Jan.
How's it going, guys? I'm driving. Is that okay? You're on speakerphone.
That's fine. You're on speaker. You're on radio. You're on everything. How are you, sir?
No crashing.
Yeah.
I'm really well.
Okay.
How are you?
We are anxious to hear this new single that you have, Love High, and to hear you talk about the shows you have coming up.
Sure. I'd be happy to.
Well, go right ahead.
Well, I'm just driving home from shooting the music video for Love High.
Okay.
Which we did today, which was really, really fun. Everyone's exhausted.
Where are you driving home from?
We shot it in Williamsburg in Brooklyn.
There you go.
Yesterday.
Our guest tonight, Charlie Cav, was just talking about that, about Williamsburg. All right, so you shot the music video. Who was in it besides you?
So we have approximately, let me just think here, how many? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hold on one sec. Just 1 second.
Okay.
I
got nothing else to do. Why not?
Okay, sorry about that. I just put on a headset.
There you go. That's good.
Okay, I hope this is better. Sorry about that. So we had, I believe there were about 7 or 8 cast members.
Okay.
And dancers. And we started at like 10 o'clock this morning. And the director is Klaudina Astramovich. She's a Polish New Yorker, now New Yorker. And we also collaborated with Joel Cassell, who is at Boston University and who is a Tony Award-winning choreographer, dancer who I've worked with in the past on a show called Moonlight Interior in New York off Broadway. And then we had Wyatt Ward, who is an up-and-coming director as well and cinematographer, and he was just great. I mean, everyone was amazing. So it kind of came together in this very unexpected way, and we haven't we always peeked, and looked at footage and stuff, but I have a very good feeling about it. Okay. And we're going to celebrate the release of the single, which just dropped on Friday, on October 14th at the Cutting Room, and we'll probably be screening. We're going to. I have a good feeling that we're going to be there by then and screen a preliminary version of the video before it gets released to the general public.
Oh, fantastic. Now I see you've got the Cutting Room and one other show, and then you're heading back over to South Africa.
Yeah, and then this Thursday I'm at the Turning Point in Piermont, New York. I don't know if you have any listeners that are up there, up that way, up the Hudson River, with Greg Adams.
Most of my listeners are up the river.
Without a paddle.
Without a paddle. Correct.
Oh, I hear you. I will be joining you very soon.
So.
Sorry, 1 second. I'm getting honked at.
No.
Driving home from Brooklyn.
Yes.
You must be like a god in New York if you have a car. They must people must follow you. Take us with you, y'all.
Having a car is, I have to say is nice in New York. It's a luxury, definitely. You're right about that. It's a luxury.
All right. So Love High. Now, is this part of a larger a larger disc, or is this just a one-off single that you're releasing with a video?
No, it's the second single off my new album In Tandem.
Okay.
And you've already played the first,
The first.
which is Take Me to Forever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was the one you did with. Was that the one you did with Annie Haslam?
No, that was Don't Give Up. That was
Okay.
Don't Give Up. That's also on the record. Yeah,
I
Don't
can't-
Give Up was the first one.
I can't keep track of you. You're like a prolific producer of material. It just keeps coming and coming and coming out of you. Like, I don't know what.
Well, thanks. I mean, I'm not as prolific as some people. I'll tell you that. I always think that I'm like behind, but I tend to be hard on myself when it comes to that.
You've put out what? 2 new albums in the last like 36 hours or something? How?
That's no, but it's been 3 in the last 4 years. It's been steady.
Yeah. Plus all the touring you do, you're constantly on the road, and not just on the East Coast or across the states. You're over in Europe. You're over in South Africa. You're everywhere.
Oh yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
It keeps me busy.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about this single, and then we'll get to playing it, and we'll let you get driving
Cool.
back to Brooklyn or from Brooklyn.
Yes, we're actually in Harlem now.
Nice.
Yeah, the song is about it's about a very intense affair that doesn't turn into more. I'll just say that.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. But not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
Okay. Well, that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then, again, you don't have to incriminate yourself in any way or manner. But is this based on?
I'm trying.
Is this based on somebody personal experience that you have had with somebody?
Yes.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's all right.
Not asking
Yes.
for a friend.
Say no more.
You're not asking for a friend. That's right. Thank you, Claire. That's what I was looking for.
I know.
Yeah. All right, Jan. Well, again, what are the shows? How do we find you? What's your website?
It's jankloos.com.
Mm-hmm.
JANNKLOSE. And but if you look for the hashtag In Tandem album,
Okay.
you'll find me.
All right. Which is a great album, by the way. I thank you for sending me that. I do enjoy it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I have listened
Thanks for
to
playing it.
Well, I do, and I have listened to it sporadically, a track here, a track there. I haven't sat down to listen to the entire thing in full from start to finish, but I have listened to a track here and a track there, and it's
That's awesome. Thank you.
much like everything else you do. It's very well done. So we
Cheers.
wish you the best of luck with that. And again, you have the Cutting Room and Piermont.
Yeah, so we have the Turning Point in Piermont this Thursday, October 4th.
Okay.
And we have the Cutting Room in New York City on Sunday, October 14th, 7 p.m. show. And we will be premiering the new music video for Love High.
Perfect. Now, I'll tell you the kind of guy I am, Jan. Even though Sunday nights at 7:00 or when my show is on the air, I am going to direct everybody to the Cutting Room instead of my show. What do you think of that?
He's speechless.
I think
Speechless.
that's really nice of you. Maybe you should do the show from the Cutting Room that day.
Oh, that would be nice.
Ooh.
Wouldn't that be nice? Up
Very
to New
nice.
York. Our engineer's looking at us going, what are you, nuts?
Can we call into you? You put us on?
Oh,
You stay
God.
here.
All right, Jan. Well, we're going to play your single. We're going to play Love High right now. Thank you once again, as always, for your time. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks for yours, Danny. And hi to the crew.
All right. And best of luck to
All
you, my
right.
friend, as always. We'll talk soon. Anytime.
All right. Cheers, buddy.
All right.
Cheers.
See you, Jan.
All right, cool.
All right. This is Jan Kloos's single. I was going to say signal. Single.
What's in that cup?
In Tandem. Love it. You poured it.
I did.
Love High. And then stick around because for the next hour and
Change.
hour and 45 minutes, we have Joe Sarasano and Charlie Cav. And you don't want to miss this interview.
Nope.
Because we're gonna pull it out of them. Both of them.
Mm-hmm. And we'll watch.
All right. This is Jan Close and his tune called Love High.
Mysterious illusion is all that I can see. Beautiful reflection staring back at me. There's a single question, all there is to know. There's a perfect moment, all there is to show. Take me too far, take me to the sky. Gonna live forever, heaven will transcend, everlasting night. Let me paint your picture with the love we found. I can hear your color, I can feel your sound, I can taste your passion, I can touch your soul. You can see right through me, you can make me whole. Take me to forever, top of the earth. Take me to the sky. Gonna live forever, heaven will transcend, everlasting night. Take me to the sky. We're gonna live forever. Heaven will transcend. Everlasting light. Everlasting light. Take me to forever. Take me to the sky. Gonna live forever. Heaven will transcend.
There we go. Jan Close and his new single Love High right here on Rock On Radio. If you want to give us a call, please do so. 609-241-7103. If you want to join the mayhem and the fun and the questions or comments. And you might even win a CD that I'm looking at. And of course, Joe being Joe, Joe always downplays everything. Yeah, I'm looking at this disc and I'm thinking, wow, this has got like. I'm glad I listened to you, Charlie. I'm glad I listened to you. Yes, that's right, Joe. You were here because Charlie said,
I know.
You know Joe Sarasama? Yes, I know Joe.
Yeah. Haven't talked to him for a while.
I know. Because you like, I don't know. I was starting to feel some kind of way because you weren't answering my phone calls, my texts.
Hermit. Hermitville.
Well, let me just we'll start over here. Joe and I met probably 4 or 5 years, maybe a little longer than that now, 5+ years ago, maybe, through our good buddy Richie Shalanda. He asked me to help you out because you were trying to get back into the music thing a little bit, and I was writing for the Trentonian at the time, the newspaper. So I did an interview with you, and then you agreed to come on this program. So it's probably been about 4 or 5 years since you've been here, actually. But you and I both have many mutual friends and acquaintances through music and so on and so forth. But as we said on the Facebook Live video, you are the most famous anonymous rock star.
You'll never
forget
know.
how he words that. Okay, just stop me when I'm wrong, because I'm always wrong at some point. So just stop me.
Sure.
You were huge in television commercials, voiceover work.
Yeah.
You were the voice of Miller Beer.
Army,
Army.
Navy.
Okay. All right.
Chrysler, Plymouth, Prudential.
Go ahead. Call you butter. You're
everything.
on a roll.
Everything. GE.
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
You had a Super Bowl commercial.
a few of them.
Oh,
A lot of them.
you have.
I was a trendsetter. Get me Joe Saraceno. Get me someone like Joe Saraceno. Who's
Yeah.
Joe Saraceno?
Let's see. You had.
It was fun.
You every now and then you have sang with Blue Oyster Cult,
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
A day with Black Sabbath.
One day with Black Sabbath.
And then I decided, no.
Which is a fantastic story, which we'll get to in a minute. So, Hands Across America.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe's voice has been ingrained. If you're in I won't say my age bracket, because that's when dinosaurs roamed the earth. If we listen to Claire,
Hey, you guys set yourselves up.
Hey, I sold I sold a lot of GI Joes. Let me tell you.
there you go. See?
And Transformers.
So, but all of that came about for you at a very critical time in your life, because as I recall, you have a disc here that you brought along, Joe Saraceno's Silver Condor, studio cut rarities and live across America. Right, you had just gone through a really rough time with Silver Condor.
Yeah,
as I recall.
Yes.
You kind of got stuck holding the bag, as they say.
Big bag. Big bag.
And the voiceover work pretty much saved you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I got that because of the second Silver Condor record. Some big advertising agencies heard it. And there was a time it was at the right place with the right voice, at the right, just everything kind of connected. And that's when advertising kind of co-opted rock and roll. It went from a jazz pop bass to a real rock bass.
Right.
And it was also the time when Born in the USA came out. Johnny Mellencamp came out with something, and nobody's basic rock and roll people still didn't want to sell out.
Right.
And I had been beat up by Columbia Records, and I said, goodbye, Columbia Records. Hello, Miller Beer. Basically. And I said, you pay my bills, then I won't do it.
Right.
Because it's an honorable profession.
As I recall, you the story went that you got the first, you were contracted for two albums.
Yes. Yeah.
And you went out on the road in support of the first one, and they wanted a second one, right?
Yeah, and they wouldn't let me out of the contract.
And they wouldn't let you out of the contract, but yet they didn't want to continue to support you because they weren't.
They had too much invested.
Right. And they weren't turning the numbers
right
that they wanted.
Right.
So now you're stuck, and then the band
they left me.
The band left you high and dry, and you were stuck holding
the bag. That big bag.
The
that big bag again.
Huge financial bag, to the point where you could have, lost everything.
Yeah.
Notice I cannot look at your lovely wife when I say that. Yes, Joe's wife is here. Charlie's wife is here. We're good. They're our studio audience tonight.
We're good.
Woo! Live studio
I'm happy.
audience. But no, and then along comes Miller Beer.
Yeah. So Super Bowl Sunday, 1984, January. It was because I did it when I came back from California in '83 in the fall, late fall, and auditioned, and then they said it's gonna go on Super Bowl Sunday '84. I mean, what really changed my mind was like I went to New York, not even knowing what the jingle was. I just wanted to make like $150 so I could get dropped from Columbia and start on another record deal. Try to get another record deal. And I'm sitting in the studio on 53rd Street by myself with my Wilson leather jacket, my fried boots. I'm like, here I am in New York. I'm so freaking glad to get out of LA. And out walks this guitar player. And I'm in this waiting room by myself. And I went, wow, Albert Lee on a Miller Beer commercial? Whoa. And I went, wow, I just couldn't believe it. And then I realized after about a month or two, I realized that all the commercials that I sang on were famous people that I used to were rock and rollers, but you never hear it. That's how they made money rather than records. They made money because it's just the word commercial means commerce. It means money. Records means fame, but there's no money a lot of times.
Record. That means record and put in the back of the discount rack.
Yeah, money. Oh my God, what a concept! You sing and you make a little bit of money.
We often joke on this program how like back in 1981, I'm right out of high school and I'm playing in bars and I'm making $40 or $50, for a night.
Yeah.
And here it is, 2018, and I'm still making $40. There's no cost of living increase. What the heck is going on here?
You made way more than that.
Yeah, right? I did a gig today in Princeton. I didn't get paid. Some Motown tribute. So yeah, you can't. It's a tough business. And then, although today the record companies can't screw everybody over, the way they used to back in the day.
They had us over a barrel. They really did. We used to have to back in with our band, the band I was in before I went to California. They would actually, to get studio time, some studio owners would want your publishing, and you give it to them.
Right.
That's totally crazy, because they didn't have the FIAC 4-track yet.
But that was the norm back then.
That was the norm.
Everybody did it.
Everybody did it. You give anything to record.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, so to speak, I can remember being a kid and taking the old cassette recorder in the basement, pushing two buttons down.
So if you want to overdub, you got two cassette players. And then the other one and record at the same time.
And then somebody whose dad had a set of razor knives.
Oh, yeah, right. Exactly. That's right.
But yeah, so that came along at a good time for you. But so Charlie, how do you and Joe come upon each other?
Well, we met years ago. I think through a mutual friend, and we just stayed in touch. Joe was actually nice enough. Speaking of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, I think the first year you went out with them, Joe was nice enough to send me and my wife tickets to the Beacon Theater. I think.
Oh, nice.
I think it was the inaugural tour,
Yeah.
which was awesome, and that's growing to be something just huge. But we stayed in touch. When I did the Radio Exile record a couple years ago, Joe came out and sang on that, and then I started doing some stuff for this Melodic Rock Records about a year or two ago, and he was looking for more artists to do some releases for. And we got a couple more coming out soon, but I thought of Joe because it's just such a vast catalog over such a long period of time that's never kind of been put together. And I thought it'd be really cool to get Joe involved and come up with this really great package for fans to kind of get, from the early Silver Condor demos all the way up until some of the recent stuff that he's done. Joe was totally on board, which was cool. So we started sending stuff back and forth and kind of picking tunes and stuff. And that's kind of how it came about. And I think we put together a really nice package. And if people don't have it, go out and buy it now.
Immediately. Stop listening to the show and go.
Do not pass go.
Do a tab.
Where is it available?
Do a tab
online.
Google Chrome.
I mean, you can. It's on Melodic Rock Records, so you can go to melodicrock.com and purchase it there. Amazon or any of the online places you can find it now. It's got great stuff, and there's some amazing players on here. I mean, from the original Silver Condor band with Earl Slick and Claude Pepper, and Kenny Aronson's on this, Neil Sean's on this.
Oh, Kenny's on this too?
Yeah,
I didn't know
Steve
that.
Plunkett from Autograph, right? And
Yeah.
Waddy Wachtel, Clarence Clemens. I mean, this is just that alone. It's some great songs and some great playing.
Now, how did you coerce these coerce?
Coheres.
Coerce.
Have you ever seen this play called Antigone?
Oh, it's
no.
Antigone. Antigone.
Anyway,
Good Lord.
how did we get all these players to be on this disc?
Well, on the first album, it was just part of the group.
Right.
It was like, and the second album, really, I was by myself. I was Silver Condor. They wouldn't, like I said, wouldn't let me change the name. And my manager, Arthur Spivak, who managed Terry Moore, anyway, a lot of people. And I had a budget, and I had met Clarence when I lived in Highlands, in New Jersey, Atlantic Highlands. I met Aronson when he was with Rick Derringer. Neil, I met through my A&R guy, Michael Dillbeck at Columbia. Waddy came from the drummer and keyboard player and said, "Hey, Waddy would like to play on this." I said, "Yeah, why not?" And they just played on it. And I really, at this point, I thought I really wanted the best band I could get. And it was great working with them, everybody, and it was, that's how the second album came about. One thing led to another, which led to commercials, which led to, our basement apartment in Piscataway, right? And our Volkswagens. And that's how they got on the record, because they heard the songs and they said, "Yeah, I want to do it."
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
pretty
remember you saying to me one time, two things that I took away from your last appearance on this program was, number one, Joe said to me, he's like, even the kid that bags my groceries has got a recording studio now in his basement.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anybody can do that sort of thing. And the other thing was when you told me about wanting to play your originals and the club owners in the city, in New York City.
Jersey, too. They
Well-
wouldn't let us do originals.
So you started,
This is something by Bob Seger.
and boom,
My
it's like
stuff.
Joe Saracen. It's going to be on his new album.
It worked. It worked. I had a whole set of originals in 8 months.
But you said they eventually called home, but they didn't care.
They didn't
'cause you
care
were
because the
packing
kids
place.
like,
So see that? Any bands out there listening?
it
Try the
doesn't-
Sarasano method.
You don't have to let people know that it's an original. Let them think it's by whoever.
Correct.
Just as long as you connect with the people,
As long as they like it.
as long as they like it.
No.
That's the thing. It was
know.
interesting. Desperation really comes. It really helps figure out things, doesn't it?
Yeah, right. Well, you've got this album, which I have not. Well, I have heard some of it because you sent it to me. An advance copy was discovered by me in my post office box. Imagine that.
Ooh.
There was a full-fledged investigation. Who put that in my post office?
That's why it is return address.
Right. So
Sorry. You started it.
no, I'm laughing because I play golf, and a friend of mine, also that I play golf with all the time, his daughter got him golf balls with his name on them for Christmas, right? And one of the other guys we golf with, because of his propensity to go a little too far left and a little too far right and lose golf balls, he's like, next time tell her to put your return address on. So that's why I started cracking up. So I do digress. But which disc would you like us to play something off of right now, Joe?
The which one, Charlie? The
Whatever you
studio stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, studio
Okay.
stuff.
Which track?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Eeny, meeny,
All right.
3.
Eeny, meeny, Artie Mo.
Can I pick
Artie
one?
Mo.
Charlie.
Okay.
Charlie will pick one. All right.
You got to do Barely Holding On. or Holding On Barely.
Why is that?
It's just such a great song.
Okay.
I think that's my favorite on the entire CD. I just love the mood of it.
Okay.
And Joe's performance on that is killer.
Oh.
And desperation. Desperation thing. Makes you hit really high notes and low notes.
Well, you are actually, Joe. You have actually been an inspiration of mine.
Really?
Because I know the things that you've told me off the record, so to speak, and personally, and when you're, one of the things I discovered is that when your back is against the wall, you have nowhere to go but forward.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's up to you how much of a push you want to give yourself.
Put on a game face,
to go forward. So yeah, I mean, there are, there are a lot of things. One of the things that kept me going over the last 15 or so years, which have been pretty dark for me at times. Okay, 90% of the time, it was the fact that there's always something or someone that's had it worse or had some kind of situation that was worse. And, that's always what, kept me going. And, it's, you should be darn proud of yourself. I know I'm darn proud of
I'm
you.
happy.
I'm darn proud of me for having you here.
Yeah, I'm how can you say? I'm glad I broke even. You know what I mean? I'm glad I'm still alive at this point, and got a beautiful family and roof over our head, and I don't have a big house in Rumson, but
You still got the place in Nashville?
huh?
You still have the place in
No,
Nashville?
I never really had a place.
Oh, you just used to.
But my friend Chuck owned a big house. He was very successful with Toby Keith and stuff. I was real grateful for that. And but you get to the point where you just get grateful that things worked out the way they did.
Yeah.
Because you think too much about it, you get real tired.
Yep.
No,
you're right. Just draws a negative energy.
Yeah.
You got it, Art? All right. This is Joe's new disc, Joe Sarasano's Silver Condor, studio cuts, rarities, and live across America. And Charlie, this is what song?
Holding On Barely.
Rock On Radio. Wow.
Growing up, you were taught to believe that everyone was created equal in the master plan. The world's a place, heroes and villains. Better watch out, you end up killing what you don't understand. All your life you would never had enough to call your own. The dreams you hold so close are being ripped and torn, and you're barely home. You're barely promising me the world that I will Lost your job, lost your money, to yourself. No friend to get you all. Day by day, getting older. Through your blood, I'm going through your. You better make up your mind. Stop running away. 'Cause if you keep your love, you're gonna end up in your
There you go. Joe Sarasano, Silver Condor.
Nice.
And I looked at you at that one point. I said, that's got to be Neil Schoen playing on this one. On guitar.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Nicely done. It's funny because when we sit here and we talk, I mean, and you listen to Joe talk, and it's sometimes I listen to that voice, and it's like it doesn't seem like the same guy. You were involved with the Wizards of Winter for a little bit, weren't you?
Yeah.
Too?
Yeah,
With those guys?
they gave me a call for one season.
Scott.
Scott.
Yeah, Scott. The same guy that set me up with the same person set me up with Punky Meadows when I interviewed him that time.
Okay.
Was also handling the Wizards of Winter.
Oh, Chip?
Was it Chip?
I think maybe.
Is it Chip?
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with Chip because
Okay.
Chip sets me up with so many people, man. I love the Chip. If you're listening, thanks, buddy. He does. He sets me up. He's the one that set me up with Randy Bachman face to face in New York, just me and Randy in a coffee shop in a hotel that they closed down so we could do the interview.
Wow.
It was pretty neat. But Scott, I'm talking to Scott, and he's like, I know you. I said, you do? He said, yeah, I was the keyboard player with Timmy and Contrarian. I was like, wait a minute. He's like, yes, I've been in your basement. I was like, so I took my daughter with me to that show. She was my photographer. I reviewed it. That was last year. Gosh, time flies. So, okay, so now you put out this disc. Now, was this at your urging, or was this something you just decided to do?
Here's this idea. I didn't
All
even
you,
know it was
right?
possible.
Yeah, Joe's like, really? People want to do this?
Yeah, I've got the masters. I've got all, just got on my shelf.
So we went in. We had it, completely remastered and everything for the package, and I think it came out great.
They did a great package.
So what made you want to resurrect Joe Sarasano's?
I love Joe's
CD career.
voice,
Okay.
and I love the story and everything about it. It was just amazing, and all the stuff that Joe's done that a lot of people don't know of. I listened to all those commercials. Bring good things to life, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And then the Army, the Navy. It's just a great story, and I thought it'd be really cool to put together a package that kind of looks at the songwriting aspect of Joe, instead of just the jingle guy. And the guy who sang on this record, the guy that danced across America, the Gloria Estefan song that he did. What was it?
It was for Phil Ramone.
Yeah.
Who did all Billy Joel's production
Okay.
and Sinatra. So I went in to do a demo for Placido Domingo's part.
Oh.
So I sang his part so Placido could learn it.
Okay.
And then when the record came out, Placido was on other songs, but he wasn't on what I sang. I was.
Oh.
They used my name Joseph.
Aha.
Because it's like it's the life of Goya.
Yeah.
The life of Goya, the artist.
Oh.
And
Just thinking about the adobo powder.
Yeah, right. Oh boy, it's Goya.
Wow.
Yeah, that was kind of like, that was neat working with Phil.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
So why did they decide to keep your cut?
I ain't
And what did
saying.
Placido have to say?
I'm not saying.
Oh no.
He
like-
still did another song. He didn't do the part that I did.
Okay.
I guess I don't know.
Is this like the Black Sabbath story where you had to tell them no and
Well, that was one of the first things that I thought that I ever did that was logical.
okay.
I mean, it was so logical.
Even though you feared for your life doing it.
Well, that was Don Arden. That was Don Arden. But that was.
I love that story. Tell that story. That's
That's-
pretty funny.
Well, I got called Bob Ezrin, who turned Lee Aaron to barely hold on. He called me and said, "Do you want to try out for Black Sabbath?" And I said, "Well," he said, "We'll pay your way out." And I had just been doing jingles for a year, and we made a little money. Remember, it was like, wow, little savings account. Oh my God, a checking account.
Commerce.
Yeah, commerce.
Commerce.
And I mean, we could go to what was the name of Mexico? Chi-Chi's. Remember Chi-Chi's?
Yes.
On Route 1, I guess.
Yes, it was. Yep.
Great tea.
Yep.
Uh,
Woodbridge.
but it was like I went out to LA, flew me out there, and it was after Ozzy quit, and I think it was before Dio, maybe. I think it was before Dio. I didn't even know.
Post Ozzy. Pre
I
Dio.
think
There
it
was Sarasano.
I think it was after.
Oh.
Oh, 90. It was 84 because the Olympics were on in LA when I was there.
So it was before then.
Yeah, it was the Olympics were on because I remember getting a paper and bringing it home with the Olympics. But went out there and went right to SAR in Hollywood and walked into the room, and there was Black Sabbath on this little stage in a rehearsal hall. And I think War Pigs and a couple other the first album songs. And then we did some old rock and roll, like Jerry Lee, a whole
Just
lot of
jammed
shit.
out.
Yeah, I mean, really, that was cool. And they knew all this stuff. You wouldn't
Right.
think of Black Sabbath, but they were doing Johnny B. Good and stuff. And
Air Supply.
yeah, right, right. So I jammed for about 40 minutes, and then I went back to the hotel on Ventura, and I sat on the bed and I went. And Ezrin said, "I think they might want you to do it." And he said, then he said, "Call me." He said, "They want you to do it." Between, I think they want you to and don't want. They want you to, and maybe they want you to. I was sitting on the edge of the bed thinking, "Wait a minute, I'm just getting established in New York, and I could see the living I could make doing all the sessions in New York. I had just moved from Los Angeles. I didn't particularly want it." And I just said, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to do this. There's something stable now. First time in my life. I could, work with the best musicians in the world. And then the next day I had to go see Don Arden, Sharon Arden's dad. And I knew about Mr. Arden. I mean, he's the one who brought Little Richard to England. He was like the main guy in England. And he was like John Gotti type.
Yeah.
And I went in and I went to his penthouse, and this guy came down in a shopping cart in a uniform, picked me up in a shop. It's not a shopping cart, a golf cart.
Yes.
Shopping cart.
Yeah, that was a visual.
A shopping cart. No, a golf cart. It was
I just pictured that the wrong way.
one of those ones that the senior citizens
Yeah.
use. And shop and save.
Take this gig or you're homeless.
You're going to end up with this.
Thanks.
So he had a gun and everything, and took me up. And I'm Mr. Arden, and I told him, Mr. I don't think I can't do it. I don't want to mess you up. But I was like, that's the nicest I've ever been in my life. And he says, well, you want a record deal? And I went, how about if I let you know? And at the time, I didn't want a record deal because I saw what was going to happen in Manhattan with the sessions. And that was it. Got on the plane, and I didn't regret it because I would have only made X amount of money being a substitute for Ozzy. And if Ozzy wanted to call the band at any time and say, I want to come back, I'd be out of the deal, just like Crusher from Bob Halford.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Crusher was from Ohio doing a cover band with Judas Priest,
Yeah.
and then Halford wanted to come back.
Right.
He's back in Ohio with a cover band.
Chip set me up with them too.
So I don't regret that at all. At all. Thank goodness I don't regret it.
Well, all right.
So,
Why don't we do some more? Play another track here.
Yeah.
Play another cut. Which disc would you like us?
well, I mean, what really set the whole thing off, really threw Silver Condor off of track, was the first single that was supposed to be released was never released. And it's For the Sake of Survival. I still to this day think that if it was released to rock radio when it was supposed to, with the right money behind it,
There's a evil word again.
that's what it was.
4-letter word.
They called it payola, but back then they called it independent promotion.
That's
And a week, about 10 days before, they wanted to pick this one song that I put on as a favor that was like the only song I didn't write. And it was the wimpiest song I didn't write. No wimpiest song. They picked that to be safe. And it destroyed Silver Condor's credibility as soon as that happened. But For the Sake of Survival, I think would have gone top 20, and
So
sold.
without a doubt, at that time, yeah.
At that time, this song would have gone top 20. It was.
And it's odd too, because normally they would release a first single as a more rocking kind of up tempo
They
thing,
didn't
and
do
then
it.
follow it up.
Everybody's afraid.
Where with them, they kind of released almost the ballad as the
Wimp,
first.
the
yeah.
Wimp, and I had 5 to 10 other songs I could have put on. I did it as a friend. I was a nice guy.
watching at home. The Wimp.
I did it as a friend because he had the same birthday as me, and we were friends. And he came up to me one day. He says, "Joey," I said, he was a troublemaker. He says, "Joey, do you know that Slick is playing majors over minors?" and that's the type of guy he was. And I said, "John, I don't give a shit. If he's playing, he's real slick. I don't care." If he's playing majors over minors, but he got, because he was such a classical piano player. I don't care. That's the reason David Bowie liked him,
Because he was
playing majors over minors.
he was bold.
Yeah. And so that's,
And he thought he was the love child of Keith Richards
yeah, exactly.
and Billy Idol.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
Oh, this is what this is called. What
For
again?
the Sake of Survival.
You got that, Art? All right. Our guests tonight are Joe Sarasano and Charlie Cav, and a cast of thousands here in studio. Sorry. Yeah. Yes. We don't have enough chocolate for everyone.
Oh yeah. By the way, I must
Always
have
more.
missed this. What's with all the chocolate on the table?
You're welcome to it. Have some,
Help
Charlie.
yourself.
Robin, go ahead. Yeah, there you
Yep.
go. Come pick out
Willy
whatever you want.
Wonka.
She's got a whole
Peanut
glass.
butter
She's
ones.
got the peanut butter
Yep.
cups back
Yep.
here. Chocolate eclair brings in the chocolate every week.
Ah,
It's my ticket in.
Gee, that's it.
Well,
Really?
Very cool.
that's how I got here. I brought chocolate and you kept inviting me back. So I have to
That's
keep
true.
bringing chocolate.
That's true. All right. Joe Sarasano, Charlie Cab. Joe, of course, in Silver Condor and more things than I have hair on my head, which isn't a big
Which is-
stretch.
yeah, no.
But this is a tune off of this. Now, is this the studio or the live? Which one?
This should be the studio.
Studio.
Yeah.
Okay. Off of Joe's brand new disc. Well, sort of brand new. When did this
Yeah,
come out?
a month or two ago.
Yeah, well, it is brand new then. Studio cuts, rarities, and live across America. Joe Sarasano, Silver Condor, and a song called
For the sake of survival.
I need your love for the sake of survival. I need you to need my love for the sake of survival. That's what I said to her. She's a girl I'm concerned. So I followed her from room to room like a dog on a leash. I said, I'm a man, get to see what I am. And I'm trying so hard to understand. So please sit down and talk to me because you're moving too fast. Oh, I need your love for the sake of survival. I need you to need my love for the sake of survival. I need you forever. That was so long ago. Isn't it strange how time seems to flow down the river, reaching out to a sea full of memories. And I hear through the grapevine, she's doing fine. Asking myself, I can live a life. Telling myself it's gonna be alright without her. Oh, I need your love for the sake of survival. I need you to need my love for the sake of survival. I need you forever. Oh, I need your love for the sake of survival. I need you to need my love for the sake of survival. I need you now more than ever for the sake of survival. 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 For the sake of survival.
Nice. Joe Sarasano, Silver Condor. The Silver Condor vault has been opened. Yeah, that almost had like a Boston type sound to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
that whole era. you know.
nice.
That was cool.
Very nice. Charlie, who was the first concert you ever saw?
AC/DC.
No way. Where?
Yes, Madison Square Garden, December 2nd, 1981, I think.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about you?
Vanilla Fudge.
Oh, right. You ever talk to? You ever see Vinny?
Huh?
You ever see Vinny Martell at all around?
No, I don't know Vinny. I knew
Oh, you don't?
Carmine. I know Carmine.
Vinny, there's a bar in Hamilton called the Ivy Tavern. And there was a guy around here who was the only place you could in the Hamilton Township area where you could go and play nothing but original music, and he would pay you to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, believe that? I didn't say pay you a lot, but he paid you to do it. There's that $50 I was talking about.
Yeah, right.
Unfortunately, he died suddenly of a heart attack. So now all the original artists in the area had nowhere to go. But what we did was we organized a memorial jam for him at this place called the Ivy Tavern, which is on Route 206. It's actually South Broad Street in Hamilton, where it's a big circle there. And once a month or every other month, they have Teddy Z memorial jams. Well, Vinny will drive all the way up he lives down around Vineland somewhere.
Really?
He'll drive all the way up and he comes up and he jams at
That's
the
nice.
at the jam every now and then. Yeah,
Vanilla Fudge were my. Oh man. I
yeah.
mean,
Where'd you see them?
West Virginia University, about 19 miles from where I live. My first, they had Voice of the Theaters for a PA, and Tim Bogert on the Fender bass.
Oh,
Man, it was
yeah.
like they were so great. You know, I just loved.
They
Mark
were
Stein.
loud.
They were loud. I love Mark Stein's voice.
Okay.
Some Velvet Morning and Keep Me Hanging.
Great
On.
stuff.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
player too.
Yeah, they were great. And Carmine had these two big bass drums. So a month later, my band had two big bass drums playing Deep Purple.
I actually, I met Carmine last year at this place down in South Jersey called The Vault. He was with Bobby Rydell.
Oh man!
Wow.
They were doing a book signing and they were giving a drum clinic. I didn't know Bobby played the drums.
Oh, I
Phenomenal.
didn't know that either. No.
Carmine and Vinny, Vinny's actually been on this program before.
Martell?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know Carmine's brother's name is Vinny.
Okay.
Vinny.
Oh no, not the drummer. I'm talking about Vinny
right,
Martell.
right.
And Vinny actually did that same epilepsy benefit I was talking about with Gary Hoey. You know, the following year, Vinny had a bunch of guitars he was auctioning off for charity.
Wow.
So Vinny was on stage with me while we were doing the auction. I talked to him here and there.
They were
every now
great.
and then.
They were
Oh,
great.
He has a little trouble hearing.
I bet.
Imagine that.
Imagine
Right?
that.
Them guys were so loud, but
They were really cool.
they were great. My first concert was Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Ooh, I saw them.
Jadwin Jim, Princeton,
They were great.
1977, 78.
Oh, that
maybe?
later. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did Emerson turn his organ around and play it upside backwards?
No,
'Cause he-
backwards, yes,
yeah, the
but
little
not
man-
upside down like you used
No,
to.
no, not upside down. But he turned it around and he could play the keys
Oh,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, not
It was
looking
like,
at him.
oh
Who was your favorite keyboard player, Charlie? You're a keyboardist.
Keith is one of them.
Okay.
Keith Emerson, Rick Wakeman, Greg Jafria, John Lord.
Okay.
Probably my top four.
I saw Rick Wakeman with Trevor Rabin and John Anderson.
Did you see him this last time through?
Last tour through.
I
At the
meant to-
Basie, actually.
I missed it. I love Wake. I've
They were
met
good.
Wakeman before.
He's still wearing
Great
that
guy.
cape.
He was a
That is so cool. Right?
Yeah.
Were you at the show where the cape got caught? He couldn't get back up to the. Was that at the?
Basie?
All right.
I think so.
Yeah, a friend of mine went to see it. He's like, he's out in the crowd. He's trying to move, and the cape's caught.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
baby.
And Raven's cracking
was
up.
in the crowd. Now, there is a total gentleman right there. Trevor Rabin is an incredibly, he's just a gentleman. Very nice guy to talk to. I've been lucky enough to interview him.
What a talent, huh?
Oh, man. Yep.
Immense.
You figure, when you think of Yes, you think of Steve Howe, but yet that
Yeah, right.
902, whatever that album was that 90? I
901.
will say 90210, but it was a
That's right.
television show.
I lost touch. Yes, after Fragile,
Oh, okay.
because cover bands, you try to do what's happening,
Right.
and I got something hit me. I said, "Wait a minute, I'm never going to be able to have guys that play this stuff." Yeah, so I started doing White Trash, Edgar Winter. They could do that, but they
Right.
couldn't do that. These
The
guys
power of positive drinking.
Yeah, exactly. Save the planet, all that, whatever. But I could never be Yes after a while. You couldn't dance to it.
Right.
The club owners,
They want you to dance.
they want you to dance.
No, the Trevor Rabin stuff was good though. I enjoyed those records.
Oh, I thought they were great musicians.
Phenomenal.
Well, that record that had owner of a Cuisinart.
Oh, that's
owner of a
a
Lonely Heart, whatever.
That's a great song.
But that was like their number one. That was one of their only number one hits, I think.
Yeah, that was a
Or up
huge
there, yeah.
resurgence for them,
Mhm.
you know, back then.
See,
Yeah.
it
Come back
takes
with
a
a record
pop
that big.
song to bring you up the charts.
Yeah.
It makes everybody come out. You know, at the end of the show, you go, "You might know this one," and they do it, and everybody goes crazy.
All right.
You know.
Two of my favorite bands, and I don't know how they did it, but Rush
Yeah.
and currently now Flogging Molly. They don't get radio airplay. They never Rush did
Right.
with the advent of permanent waves and then moving pictures put them over the top. But those guys they would get no help from radio or album oriented stations, and yet they were selling out
Rush.
17,000 seat arenas.
They're great.
So kudos to them. How do we find you, Joe? How do we get these?
Cirasano.com or
Okay.
Joe, so just type in Joe Cirasano in Google.
Okay. CERISANO.
Yeah, it just a whole bunch of stuff comes
Okay.
up. You know.
Neat. So the live tracks, where were they taken from?
They were recorded at different places. We had one tour in 1981, and we used to record the night, and they were taken at different places during the tour. Where our tour was so coordinated that
He says with a laugh.
I never forget. There were like 8 different places where we were playing for one radio station who wasn't playing our record. The other radio station was, and we weren't playing for them.
How does that happen? Who was your road manager?
It wasn't. It was Columbia Records.
Columbia Records.
Yeah, it was like the radio stations across town would be mad because we're playing your record. Why aren't you playing for us?
Right.
I don't know nothing.
I just show up.
I just show up.
Yeah.
So, but it was a good live thing. It was a decent. We pulled it off.
Well, I'm looking at this, and you had said, and I'm remiss to tell everybody listening that these were all demos
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. These are demos. We did these demos in 2 days.
Wow.
At Pasha Studios, where Spencer Proffer, who produced Quiet Riot,
Okay.
they recorded all their stuff there about 2-3 years later. But Spencer gave us the studio time. And Dwayne, my dear friend Dwayne Barron, who was my roommate in the Valley in Van Nuys, was the engineer.
Okay.
And we did it like we just went in and did them. We didn't like think about it. We just did it.
Right.
And we had 5 songs. And that was it. We didn't put much thought into it.
Right.
We just did it.
Now, did you record them the old analog way?
Oh,
or did
yeah.
you-
There was
okay.
no digital until like 3 years later.
Okay.
We did it on Studer.
I mean, I'll talk about that from time to time on here. When first time I ever went in studio was on 24 track.
Oh,
analog,
yeah.
And it was a home studio. Guy named Tommy Moralda
Uh-huh.
had the studio, and you went in if the song was 3:59 long and you screwed up at 3:50, you were recutting the whole tune. There
Yeah.
was no, not now. I'll fix that. Drop it.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
No, I still have my splicing block.
Yeah,
Remember the splicing block?
that's what I said. You found somebody's dad that had a sharp razor knife.
Exactly.
You were splicing the tape
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, it was all analog. As a matter of fact, about 2 years after that, I got a call to go to the record plant to test out for Sony engineers from Japan their new digital recorder.
Oh, wow.
It was very cool, and it was very kind of like what's the word? It was kind of crystal-y. It was kind of like metallic sound. It wasn't like
Sterile.
yes, that's the word.
There you go.
And I went down there for free and got to record something. But it was these Japanese guys from Japan trying it out with the record plant.
Japanese guys from Japan.
Japanese guys from Spain.
Imagine that.
Sounds like something I'd say. But okay, so yeah, it's a totally different world today. I think that's how most music is today. It is pretty sterile, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Mm.
I mean, they're trying. these record companies and artists are trying to bring back vinyl and bring back, there was a kid in here last week. He said, yeah, we're getting our new CD press. We got it on CDs, cassettes, and we're going to have it on vinyl.
Yeah,
That's
cassettes
expensive.
are making a comeback.
Cassettes?
Cassettes.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Then mark my words right now, Charlie. All right, Robin, here.
Mark them down.
Take a pen and write this down. You know what? Take stock
8-track?
in pencils.
Expensive.
Because you're going to have to rewind that tape somehow.
Right.
You got to put it right there.
And typewriters are making a comeback.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Click, click, clack.
No, it's amazing what a market is out there. One of the things I'm involved in now is this new indie label, and the first couple of releases we're doing are just vinyl,
Wow.
Wow.
and it's amazing. It's that in itself is an art form.
Right.
The album covers.
The cover, yeah, we
Thank God.
yeah.
My wife, she was, there's a whole. I used to buy records just because of the
Right.
covers.
Right.
And it's good to roll a joint on too. Even though I don't do that anymore, I freak out.
But I mean, come on. Remember the cover of Physical Graffiti? The
Oh, yeah,
Led Zeppelin
yes.
3 had the wheel.
You can't do
The
that with
White
any-
Album had.
Yeah.
with the CD. We were talking about today. I got to get a magnifying glass
I was
out
going to say
to actually read what's on it. I can't
Exactly.
see it.
Yeah. The liner notes. There's nothing there.
It's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just in today's music
Ain't got the same soul.
That's right.
Isn't that a song?
Like old time rock and roll.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you wrote it, didn't you, Bob Seger?
Yeah, Bob
Yeah,
Seger.
I wrote it.
I wrote that.
I played that back in Jersey City. Gave Bob the idea. What are you up to with Punky Meadows? I mean, here's a veteran musician making a comeback.
It's amazing. I mean, now we're out. It's called Punky and Frank, so it's basically the Angel Show
Right.
that we've been doing all year, and it's been great. We booked it first as just a couple shows on the Northeast to see how it went, and we did Los Angeles, Vegas, Chicago, St. Louis, Nashville.
That's when you were here
Detroit,
last. Was right before that. Right.
and they just
Yeah.
keep adding them, and then we're heading off to the UK in I think less than 2 weeks.
That's
We're
great.
doing a 6-date run there.
Oh, nice.
And it's doing great, and it was enough that Mercury just released a 7 CD box set, the Casablanca Years of Angel.
Oh, wow.
I mean, just from being back out there in the back catalog and stuff starting to sell, it's the old-fashioned way, like it was back in the 60s and 70s. Go out and play,
Yeah. Go on tour.
kind of just get the momentum, and the crowds have been great. It has really been amazing. The band is phenomenal. We just did the last of the U.S. dates at the Sellersville Theater over in Sellersville, PA.
Oh, that's a nice
And
theater.
almost sold out. I think there's the last couple seats in the last row left.
That's
And
great.
it was a great, awesome place. Sounded great. The food was great. The whole vibe there was just, it was a great place. And so we're gonna wrap it up in the UK. I think that's gonna be it for the year. And then 2019 looks to be even busier.
Wow.
Yeah.
The same kid I was talking about with the cassette. Okay. He, somebody says, who's coming on the show? Actually, I said it. I said next week.
Talk
we
to
have-
yourself.
We have Joe Sarasano and Charlie Cav, and he plays with Punky Meadows. And when we got off the air, he's like, "Oh, Punky Meadows, Angel, man, yeah, I love them guys." You know?
It's funny, and the funny thing about that too is like Punky was just such a it's one of the bands where like the guitar player was the main name in the band. It's like everybody knows who Punky Meadows was. I mean, he was like the quintessential rock star looking guitar player, and it's great. It's and like I said before, I mean, Greg Jeffrey was one of my favorite keyboard players.
Right.
So
And now you're playing his parts.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool. Actually, Greg sat in with us when we were in Vegas.
Oh, nice.
And it was the first time they've played together in like 35 years.
He play your keys.
Yes, I had to show him how to use them and everything. It was very, very cool. And he's an awesome guy. I met him a couple years ago as well, but that night he was great. I mean, just telling stories. He's funny as hell.
Really?
He's a really funny guy. And all
Were they
sorts of
out of
great
LA?
stories.
Are they from out of LA?
They're originally
part
from
of that whole thing.
they're originally from DC, and then when they signed their management deal, they all moved out and lived in Los Angeles then.
That whole what do they call it? That whole scene was like an LA type,
Yeah.
an LA type scene.
And they just kind of missed the boat because they're very visual. And
Right.
then they broke up before MTV came out. And if they would have stuck around a couple more years, they would have been huge.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a weird thing. Is that they're one of those bands where it's like you either know them or you have no clue who they are.
Where they are.
You know, because they never had that hit single. You know?
Like I was just
Tell me
talking about.
Tell me about it. I mean, I could be playing, if I had a hit single, I could be playing county fairs. Play all my songs at the end. You might remember this one.
So when he played your keys, did you have them hermetically sealed and buy a whole new
I
keyboard?
think Robin said I should have done that. I should have bronzed the keys.
Had him sign it. Right.
Sign
Yeah, that's
it.
right.
Yeah, that
Robin
would've
saying
been good.
autograph. That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he sounded phenomenal. I mean, he hasn't really played out in public in decades.
Wow.
You know, but obviously he still plays at home because he sounded absolutely
Nice.
You know,
This
And
is a crazy business.
it is, isn't it?
This is a crazy business. But, you know, I guess it beats everything else. It must be even crazier.
Well,
It's not a cubicle.
right. Like, what did I say before we went on the air? If I had the opportunities that you turned down, I would.
Yeah, right. Amazing.
Yeah, it's just some people look at it. Some people are very bitter about certain things. Oh, some people have all the luck, or some people just fall into it, or some people this, some people that. And you know what? So what? Maybe some people do.
That's what luck does.
Now, what are you going to do? You going to sit there and complain about them, or are you going to try and work yourself into that same position?
Yeah. I always say I wish I had my right leg about 4 feet longer, so I can kick my own ass. You're just one long leg. I'd be kicking myself.
Double jointed.
I'm going to stay quiet. Yeah, I lost the train. The thought train derailed totally on that one. No, I mean, people complain and moan and groan, but you can. I have a friend who is hands down the best drummer I've ever seen in my life. Phenomenal. He played with Lionel Hampton at the Spectrum one time. He did. He recorded with Tony Bennett, Nora Jones. They're calling this guy, right? He plays drums for the Supremes. Whenever she's married, Wells goes on tour. He goes out there. He gets flown into Puerto Rico to do a one-off gig and flown home. That kind of thing. And I looked at him and I said, man, because I've known him since high school. We've been friends since high school. And I said, how did you get into all that? Were you in the right place at the right time? What was thinking you could do what I do? I said, well, first of all, I'm nowhere near as talented as you because you actually practice. and we joked, and I said, no, but you how did you? He said, all you got to do is ask. And he looked at me and goes, let that sink in. He goes, you want a beer? and he's right. All you got to do is ask.
Right.
Get in there. Can I have a shot? Can I try? So many people are afraid to put themselves out there for fear of rejection or some deep-seated. That's why there's couches here. If you want to discuss this, you go some deep-seated. Right.
You have to.
In the words of that great American poet, Steve Tyler, you've got to lose to learn how to win. I mean, it's he was a poet, did you?
Sure.
Sure. Who's Steve Tyler?
Who's Steve Tyler?
That's your favorite.
You like Steven Tyler?
Mhm.
Yeah. See, okay.
I have to play the young
I
one.
think
So.
he's great.
I know.
Right.
Tyler. Liv's father, right?
Yes. That
See,
guy.
yeah, I got it.
No, but I think in your case, Joe, I mean, you know what failure's like, whether it was by your own doing or whether it was forced upon you. And as we said at the beginning of the show, you clawed your way back. And,
You got to.
kudos to you.
If you can, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
You'll be okay if you can.
So what are we going to do with this disc? I mean, obviously you're not going on tour, or are you? You're just holding back.
No, I am. I'm holding back. If the situation ever warranted, I wouldn't go out and spend money to play at this point. But if the situation you know, became something. I would go out and do a couple gigs, but but not really.
By the way, I was only kidding. I do practice.
You do practice? Okay, then.
Call me.
I'll call you.
We'll go on the road.
I got you, Tack. I got you.
You got my
Just had to ask. Go ahead.
You know,
Go on tour yet?
but no, at this point, you know, I really don't have plans to go out and play live
Okay.
or dead.
The alternative.
Speaking of which, tell the mausoleum story.
Oh, nice.
About 10
That's a
years
good
ago.
segue. You just gave me that
Okay,
opportunity.
that's great. That was quick. Well, I get a call from our local funeral home, and it's the daughter of the
Are you
owner.
dead yet?
And she says, "Joe, can you play Freebird on acoustic guitar?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well," she says, "I have a client who wants, it was his favorite song, and you have to sing it in a mausoleum and in back of the casket with all his family there, and they're going before they put him into the mausoleum." I said, "Okay." So
It's a gig.
It's a gig.
I was young and I needed the money.
Yeah, I wasn't young, but I thought it would be real interesting. So it was a challenge. So I learned Freebird real quick, and I knew most of the words. Here I am at the mausoleum with, I don't know, there's a mausoleum guy there, and in the mausoleum I said, "Hi, I'm singing Freebird for the guy who's coming." Who's coming here? So I'm waiting here, we're waiting, and here comes the hearse and all the people. And I'm standing, they bring the casket in, standing behind this beautiful gold casket, and I start, "If I leave," and everybody's crying, and I'm like, "Oh man, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up. This is this guy's favorite song." So I really sang it as good as I could. I mean, I really dug deep, and that's the mausoleum story.
See, that's one thing I could say I've never done. I've never performed at a funeral.
It's like taps.
You've done it.
The reverb.
Yeah, I've sang at funerals.
you sang
Yeah,
at
I do.
The reverb was great. I mean, the
In the
echo.
mausoleum?
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's
it
gotta be
was
a good
great.
acoustic.
It was great. It was. You know, and that's my mausoleum story. So, you know, it's
You've got a lot of those interesting moments.
yeah.
Any stand out over the other? I mean, how can you top a mausoleum?
I don't know. I have to look at the book I'm writing.
Now, you've played the Garden before, right? With
Transylvania,
right?
yeah.
What is that like, stepping out onto a stage that size?
I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't. When you play big places, does it matter to you? It's like, it's kind of like it does, at this point. It's like you can only see the first 10 rows,
Right. You can't
and
see
the
that
rest
far
doesn't really matter.
But that's an iconic place.
Yeah. What I liked about it was when I wasn't singing, I had a full access pass, and I could walk around anywhere while the rest of the band was playing.
Right.
I could walk around anywhere where the band was playing, and I could go anywhere in the garden, and the big guys, let me walk around anywhere I want to go. Yeah, exactly. All access. Like the first time I ever did that.
All access.
I like
Hello, welcome to Rock On Radio. Who's this?
Kevin John Allen. How you doing?
Yo, Kevin John Allen. What's up, buddy?
I just wanted to call and say it's great to hear Joe on the radio.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. How you doing, buddy?
Hanging in there, and keep up the good shows. It's fun to listen to.
Thanks.
Dude, it's been like forever since I've seen you. What are you, hibernating?
In a way.
Okay.
In a way.
All right. Well, I'll have
I
to
just
come.
wanted to call and offer my good wishes. That's all.
Thanks, Kevin.
I'll have to be like
Appreciate
Kenny K and come get in the way.
Yeah.
Joe, hey, Kev, would you like a copy of Joe's new disc?
That would be special
Ooh.
and fantastic.
Fantastic. We'll give you a copy of his new disc. We'll also give you a copy of my greatest hits, so you get nothing.
Your bumper sticker.
We're gonna. I'll give you some Rock On Radio tchotchkes. And that means you gotta come out of hiding and hibernation, so I can give you this stuff.
Okay, you got it.
You don't want me to mail it to you, right?
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
There you go. Oh, it must be in the witness protection program again. All right, Kev. Thank you, buddy.
Have a good show, guys.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Rock on, my friend.
Rock on.
There you go. Kevin John Allen. He's been on this program multiple times.
He's got
Nice.
fantastic.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's
Whoa.
like, you're-
No, no.
whoa.
There's a voice for commercials.
Oh man.
Yeah.
He's got fantastic.
Although I have to laugh. One time we were doing Kevin, I was doing a gig at the Saint, and Kevin was on the same bill, and we were there, and he made a mention on stage. A girl named Jersey Jung was singing with him at the time, and he made a mention about I let her sing because people tell me, Kev, you write great songs, but you should let other people sing them.
Oh.
No, he always pokes fun at himself,
Yeah,
you know.
right.
But Jersey has one of them voices that's just
Oh.
like heavenly. You know,
Exactly,
it's
exactly.
like, you know, somebody, what's that old blues tune? Somebody left the gates of heaven open,
I'm telling you,
you know. Yeah.
first time I heard him, I went, whoa. I did the
Mm.
second take.
Okay.
Amazing.
Black or dark songs on black guitar. I always forget the name of that album he's got, but yeah, definitely love Kev. Let's play some more music before the
Okay.
time gets away from us. What do we want to do here? Charlie, you have more demands?
Special request.
Do I give you that one? Because this one keeps
Are we
fighting.
going?
Let's see. What do we got on here? How about Trouble at Home?
That's a rocker.
Yeah,
you
Clarence on that one.
Clarence Clemens is on that one? Gosh.
Jerry Lee meets Little Richard
Ooh.
That's a cool song.
and Desperation.
And had a love child named Earl Slick?
No, Slick's not on this. Slick's not on this.
Oh, okay. So who is on this besides Clarence?
Well, you got Craig Cramp and Steve Goldstein from Kim Carnes' band.
Oh.
They're the drummer and keyboard player throughout the whole album. You have, I think Waddy played on guitar background. Clarence, and this is a one take. I was in the middle of the studio in front of the drums with a SM57.
Oh wow.
First take, done.
Mm.
What song?
That's a thing of beauty,
Trouble at
It
Home.
really was. You talk about economical.
right?
You know, and then we went out and did the backgrounds, trouble at home, answers, and it was done. It was done with an SM57 Shure $100 mic. Done, standing right in front of the drums.
What was that like working with Clarence?
Oh, it's great. It was
Yeah.
just me and him at the what do you call it, Electric Lady.
Ah.
Yeah. All he requested was a bottle of Cavassier.
That's it?
That was it. And when he left, man, there was like a wood pile of reeds. Broken reeds. But he played. He was really quick, and he just that tone. It was just like he was really a nice guy.
Isn't that funny how, I mean, you figure how many tenor and alto sax players or saxophone players are there? You know, baritone sax.
Yeah.
I mean, how many are there? But yet you got certain guys, like I knew that was Neil Schoen playing that guitar.
Exactly.
You know when you hear Clarence that's Clarence Clemens.
He just got the tone. Man.
Some of
got
these, yeah, they just have this style that stands out from so many other people.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't say one word. I played him the track. As I said, you'll play here. This parts. I didn't say nothing about where to play, what to play. We started the track, and he just everything you hear is like he did it in almost one take too. I mean, I think he did 2 times through, and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cool. It was great.
Well, if you're just tuning in, this is Rock on Radio. I am Danny Coleman. Our guests tonight are Charlie Cav and Joe Sarasano, and we're concentrating on Joe's disc, which is called Studio Cuts, Rarities, and Live Across America. Joe Sarasano's Silver Condor, and this is a tune called
Trouble at Home.
Trouble at Home. There we go. That's we like the first track so much. Art liked the first track so much, you want to play it again. See? What was the name of that one? Trouble at Home. Okay. That's on the studio disc. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's the seventh cut, seventh track. Why is it called Trouble at Home? What do you think? They're loaded questions.
Yeah, that's self-explanatory.
You got it now, Art? Okay, good. There you go.
Came in last night, calling to force. The key out of heaven since you locked the door. Slept in the car, I'm deathly sick. It's time to move out, I can't take this shit. A long time ago, I had to decide that if I wanna be free, I can't be alright. You gotta be strong to make it on your own. The last thing you need is trouble at home. Trouble at home. I should be on my own. Yeah, to live my life. Live my life the way that I want to. I gotta live my life. I gotta talk my mind. Yeah, be on my own. Oh, that's the trouble at home. It's just a house with a crazy woman on it all. Well, these other rotten tell me what to do. I'm gonna serve my time. I know if I do, then I told it all. I said it's now on my own. Yeah, to live my life. Live my life the way that I want to. I'll stay on my mind. Right here is where I draw the line. I'd rather be out on my own. But with all
There we go. Silver Condor, Joe Sarasano, Trouble at Home. And we were talking, Charlie and I, Charlie to you, and me agreeing. How's that sound? Sounds better.
Yes, that was good.
That
It doesn't sound old.
no,
right?
no, it sounds very fresh, very fresh. What year was that from?
1983.
83.
You know, so when you think 83, you think, oh, kind of dated or whatever, but these songs don't sound, to me, they don't sound dated at all.
Right. So speaking of which,
Dated? No.
of being dated,
Dated.
people say
Hey,
that,
two
you know,
peanuts going down the street. One was assaulted. Ba-dum. That's the only joke I know. That's the only joke I know.
Oh, wait a minute now. There's a beautiful woman sitting at a bar with a bartender and a guy on the other side. And all of a sudden she hears, "Oh, you're so beautiful." She looks around. 2 seconds later, she hears, "That dress matches your eyes superbly." She looks around. Says to the guy at the other end of the bar, "Are you talking to me?" He's like, what are you talking about? Looks at the bartender. She goes, are you talking to me? He goes, no, it's the beer nuts. They're complimentary.
Same family of jokes. Same family of jokes.
I told the joke the other day at work to one of the nurses that I work with at one of the local hospitals. I told her a joke, and she goes, "That was a dad joke." I was like, "Oh,
Well, you're a dad.
I know I am." So now I totally forget what I was going to say. What were we talking about?
You said
melodic. What is this melodic records thing you got going on there, Charlie?
Well, that's a guy Andrew I've known for a long time, and he's had the label for a couple of years. So we're doing a couple of projects together, and then I've got something brand new called Deco Music, DEKO. That's with a gentleman named Alan Douches, who actually mastered the record for Joe. Neil Kernan, who I know Joe knows, record producer, did
He's great.
all the big Hall & Oates records, Kansas,
Okay.
Doc, and Queensryche. Another gentleman, Bob Ardrey. And we're just getting ready to launch our first couple of releases coming up at the end of the year. Like we were talking about earlier, a lot of it's going to be vinyl. We have a new Ted Poley record called Modern Art that's going to be out. These will all be out in November. But it's cool packaging. This is like splattered vinyl. It's just really great packaging. So we have his coming out. Then we have a 12-inch single of Punky and Frank from Angel. It's got one of the singles from Frank's solo record, one of the singles from Punky's solo record, and then the real great thing we have is we have an unreleased Angel track. There's going to be the bonus on that, and that's going to be like with the etched vinyl, almost like a picture disc. So that's a release we got coming up. Then we've got Mike Tramp from White Lion doing his 20th anniversary reissue. Then we have another really great band that had one hit here in the early 90s, band called Electric Boys out of Sweden. So we have their record coming out. And then next year we got a really cool Glenn Burtnick project gonna come out. We have the Good Rats catalog we'll be reissuing on vinyl. We're probably just talking about now, but the first release will probably be Tasty, but it'll be like the mega Tasty reissue because they'll have the original record plus different concerts of the tracks from Tasty, some unreleased stuff. We're actually looking at some tapes. Pepe's son Stefan is kind of waving the banner for the Good Rats, but he's got a couple of quarter-inch tapes that are just labeled like Engine Joe, Work in Progress, this and that. We don't even know what's on them, so we're kind of looking forward to uncovering some of that stuff. And then a whole bunch of others. I think we're doing Don Barnes from the 38 Special.
Nice.
His Lost solo record on vinyl. Talking with Dave Bickler from Survivor. Probably be doing his new record on vinyl. So and we got a lot of other things coming down the pike. But it's called Deco Music. You can look up on decoentertainment.com. And as we progress, there'll be more than just the vinyl. I mean, CD, digital. There's some film projects, some documentary stuff we'll be working on.
Cassettes.
Maybe even cassettes. Yeah. But the idea is to give like a really good quality product. And we got distribution through Warner Brothers ADA. We'll be distributing North America and a company called Target for Europe. Okay. So this is going to be really cool. We got a lot, and we have besides the label, we have a full functional 24-track analog studio. We can bake tapes, master, 5.1 surround sound. I mean everything. So it's going to be kind of the concept of the old, like when Atlantic and Sony had their own studios to record their artists in and stuff like that.
Good for you.
I'm excited.
Should be. That sounds really good.
Yeah. So and there's a lot of potential releases coming up. We're just kind of working through all the.
Who's pressing the vinyl? There's only like 5 plants left in the country.
Believe it or not, there is a plant here right in Kenilworth, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. There's one in Boardtown.
Yes, there is.
Wouldn't you know it? New Jersey.
Right? Imagine that. The home of the very first record.
I'm telling you.
Very first vinyl record.
Edison.
No, down in Camden at the RCA Victor. That's where I told you I saw Carmine and Bobby Rydell.
Yeah.
The place in South Jersey is called The Vault. It's on White Horse Pike down in South Jersey in Camden County, not far from the Camden waterfront. They've got it's a bunch of young guys, like in their 30s, late 20s, early 30s. They got together and formed a co-op, and they purchased the entire RCA Victor catalog because they were going to just let it go with the building when they destroy it. They've got the original pressing machines that they used to,
The stuff that was obsolete 20 years ago.
right.
That we thought we
The stuff. No, they've got the stuff like from the original. Very first record that was ever pressed.
That's a very cool place.
Yeah, Art, you've been there
several times.
It's really, and they've got one hermetically sealed room. It's got all the what am I looking for? Cellophane type things. What are they called?
The masters.
Well, they've got all the masters. They've got sheet music. They've got the.
They literally have a vault that you can look into.
Can't go
the
in,
collection
but you
is
can
in
look
there.
Really?
They've got the old Victor players. They're still Victor is still manufacturing turntables. Some of them are really cool. There's one that you put the record on this way.
Oh, wow.
Even those at home watching it this way, not this way, but this way. And the needle comes and the arm swings out and plays it that way. It's really
You guys still have your turntables?
I do.
I have
I
mine.
do.
Yeah.
I have my sons.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, my kids, especially my middle son, totally into vinyl.
Yeah.
And a lot of these younger kids really into vinyl. I mean, it's making such a big comeback.
This kid I was just talking about, his name's Graham. He was in the Beatles show on Broadway, not the Fab Four, the other one, or not Broadway, the other one that's like the Fab Four.
Right.
Fab Four is our buddy Jack Petroselli.
Yeah. And Will.
Yeah. And he is the one that headed up this whole collaborative or co-op or whatever you want to call it that bought the catalog. But his quote to me was, vinyl is like the hard copy of a book. He said, think about it. There's an entire generation of kids that don't know what a vinyl record is.
Right.
That were born during the time of compact disc and now digital download. They don't know. It's like actually having the physical hard copy.
When you get your MP3s, I mean, I remember the first time I heard of an MP3, and it was like, a what? Because we were doing a session in New York, and they were working with Japanese people. And somebody says, we have to take a break because they're sending us an MP3 from Japan. And I'm like, what's
It's like
an
a
MP3?
fighter jet or something.
What's an MP3? And we were waiting for music. We had to wait an hour before the MP3 came from Japan. And then I went home and looked it up. And that's when there was something on the web called mp3.com.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
And I signed up to it. Joe.mp3.com. After about 4 months, they took my Joe MP3 because it was too common. It was too good of because I was like one of the first. But it was like, then I realized they filter out all the stuff that they don't need, right? That's on MP3s.
Yeah, it's so compressed.
Right,
And,
the frequencies, they take it out. You're only hearing what a human can hear. Like if you wanted to play it for your dog, they wouldn't
hear anything.
They wouldn't hear.
Tree falling in the woods.
Really?
They wouldn't lift their leg on it. Is that
They would not. It wouldn't even. Either leg.
Might be a good thing.
Right or left.
I have to laugh. My son for Christmas this past year asked me. He's like, what do you want for Christmas, buddy? He says, you know what? I want a turntable.
Wow.
Really? He says, yeah, I want a turntable. So I bought him a turntable. And then here's the killer, Joe. And I know you'll appreciate this. There's a friend of this program, guy who owns a store in Bordentown. His name is Randy Now. Randy Now's Man Cave. Okay. So Randy, and right down the street is the Record Collector. And they specialize in nothing but old, used vinyl and cassettes and 8-tracks and 45s.
Good
and things.
stuff.
So, but Randy has more like tchotchkes. He has old bobbleheads and old, things that used to come inside albums and 45s off cereal boxes, that kind of thing. The man had a pork roll Christmas ornament one year. It was just a piece of pork roll. I mean, he's got things like bacon flavored soda. So I thought, well, now I got to get the kid vinyl. Where am I going to get vinyl? I'll go see Randy. So I go in, and I know my son, he was raised by me, so he likes classic rock, you know. And I'm looking at Zeppelin, right? There you go. Unless I can dig mine out of storage,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him his own. First album I pick up is like Houses of the Holy. Okay, I look at it. $28.99. What? $28.99
for $6 a set.
I paid $8 for it, brand new.
Right,
It's
right.
$28.99 and it's used. So there's I bought him a Springsteen album last week. By the way, surprise, Clint.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know yet. What do you call it? The Wild, the Innocent, and the E Street Shuffle. Now that was only $7, and I was like, okay, that's
Right.
more. It's used, but at least it's a normal price. But so now vinyl costs more.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Used with even more scratches and pops than it did when
Right.
you released.
Yeah.
It's just they say things that the proverbial they say things are all relative. No.
I don't know.
Oh no, my salary hasn't gone up by like 350%.
But vinyl is expensive. We've been looking for a record, right, Rob, for Julian? What was that, like $100, $200?
Wow.
It's just because a lot of stuff's out of
Oh
print.
my
Out of
gosh.
print.
Yeah, right.
So like whoever's got it, they just jack up the price and people
Right.
pay.
Have you ever been to that barbecue joint in Lambertville? Since I know you guys are up from that way,
Yeah.
right on the side street, JB Klein Alley or whatever the heck it is.
We
there.
just drove through there the other night. No?
There's a barbecue joint. I can't remember the name of it, but it's actually Randy, who I just talked about. It's his brother.
Okay.
Now, he was in the band back in the 70s called Smart Remarks. They were a trio. I wound up working at my day job with the drummer from that band for like 15 years, right, when I was a UPS guy. And he told me, Randy's brother, his name's Todd, he told me that, he goes, yeah, if I could only find one of our singles, he says, I could sell it in Japan right now for $200.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, really? I'm thinking, oh, time to go to my storage unit because I got them singles.
Oh, right.
And that's funny. And when I was in Japan, that's where you could buy on the corner for like 50 cents every album.
And he said to me, he said, yeah, it's going for $200. I saw it online. I looked up just for the heck, for the heck of it. For 45.
Yeah, I get that Goldmine magazine. Have you
Okay.
seen Goldmine? It's a record collector
Yeah.
vinyl. It's all vinyl, and it's really a good magazine. Goldmine. It's like there's a lot of stuff being released on vinyl. And there's a lot of There's a lot of places in Jersey to buy it.
Now, I also actually have, if you walk into the place we're talking about, the vault, they have my machine right on the front, on the receptionist's desk, an RCA Victor. I got a Victrola at home, right?
Oh, wow.
Victrola.
Yeah. And it's the kind where you want
He
to.
bought it new.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
There's a big line at the general store for that.
You don't even plug those. You don't even plug those in. Dude. You crank them.
You crank it up, and the volume is controlled by opening and closing the doors
Right.
on the front, right? And then the albums actually slide right in the slots if you want to keep them. So I've got things at home that were my grandparents. I've got Sinatra with the Dorsey Brothers. I've got Bing Crosby's
Yeah.
White Christmas, and on the other side is Adeste Fidelis. I've got who was the guy? New Year's Guy Lombardo. I got his stuff. I mean,
And the Royal Canadians or something.
Yeah, every New Year's Eve, Old Lang Syne. I've got that on vinyl, and it's just like I can't bear to part with that stuff. I mean, that's like history,
It is.
Yeah.
So let's do another tune before the time escapes us. Where's the?
Oh, sorry, that was me.
Sorry. Oh, thank you.
I don't know.
Yeah, what do we got here?
Well, I don't know. What do you? I mean, these are trouble. These are silver condoms.
Okay.
Most of the ones down here are things that I did after silver.
Okay. Well, you tell me, Joe. Does not matter to me what we play. We can play.
I don't know what.
Whatever you want.
We can play Guy Lombardo's Greatest Hits.
With
Bubbles.
this tremolo.
I'll tell you what.
You know, it's a good song.
Go ahead.
If Joe doesn't mind the last one. That's what writes the book.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Great lyrics. What do you think of that, Marie? You like that one?
Mhm.
All right. It's not like Inagata Davida.
No, no,
We only got like 10 minutes.
no. It's acoustic.
Okay. Like last week.
Last week.
The guy, I said to the guy last week was in here. I was like, do you have anything that's fairly short? We'll let you do one more line. Yeah. I
He
got
plays
some.
Freebird.
I was like, I mean, something like less than Freebird. We had like 6 minutes. Well, I'm down to like 32 seconds left of the program, and he's just hitting his stride. I'm like,
And he's waving at him.
I'm like,
And he smiles and he nods, and then he goes into the next verse. Yes.
yeah, I was like, I play it live.
Turned into an Academy Awards moment.
It was
Art played music. All right. Once again, our guests tonight are Joe Sarasano and Charlie Cab. This is from Joe Sarasano. Silver Condor, studio cuts, rarities, and live across America. And this is the 14th track on disc 1. It's called That's What Writes the Book.
Life is strange, it can drive you insane. For every single rainbow, there's a whole lot of rain. When the story's told, it's a struggle of the soul. Maybe it's the heartache that makes the heart of gold. Days go by in the blink of an eye. Cherish all the laughter and every tear you cry. 'Cause living is a book and the pen is in my hand. With every word I write, I will try to understand. It's the rose and the thorn, the blessing and the curse, the pleasure and the pain, the best and the worst, the fool and the sage, the hero and the crook that spill their blood on the page. But that's what writes the book. So I will take my time, line by line, to find the hidden meaning, every reason, every rhyme. 'Cause to know the truth, what it is and what it ain't, takes the passion of a sinner, the patience of a saint. It's the rose and the thorn, the blessing and the curse, the pleasure and the pain, the best and the worst, the fool and the sage, the hero and the crook. We spill our blood on the page, but that's what writes the book. So put your heart into love, like a hand in a glove. You gotta learn to be tender, learn to be tough. 'Cause it's the rose and the thorn, the blessing and the curse, the pleasure and the pain, the best and the worst, the fool and the sage, the hero and the crook. I spill my blood on the page, but that's what writes the book.
Joe Sarasano right here on Rock On Radio. Very nice,
That
Joe.
was really nice.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
No, writes the book.
Thank
So
you.
is that the song that starts the conversation about the book?
About the mausoleum.
Not the book.
The mausoleum. That's done.
Done. You did that already. Now
That's a
this is
dead,
the new
that's a dead
segue.
subject.
Come on, new segue.
See? That becomes me. John, I didn't here. I actually decided to read this at 5 minutes to 9. You're the executive producer, huh, John?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Just gave.
That's. I had no idea to do this. It
Why
was
not,
just
Joe?
because it was just sitting on the shelf. Maybe I'm not a
Well,
businessman.
Well, no, seriously, because I know we're
I really
running
don't
short
know.
on time. But were you soured that much by this project
No,
that you just
by-
kind of put it
no,
away? Or
no, I
not
wasn't-
this, but the whole Silver Condor
No,
thing.
no. The only thing that I was kind of bummed about was as the years went by, I realized I didn't even think about it for years. I just dove into my family and my session career,
Right.
and I just kind of put it off to the side. Then the older I got, I realized what had happened.
Mm.
Then after it went by, I could take it, I could
Right.
absorb it. You know, I couldn't think about it.
No truer, what's the word I'm looking for? Cliche,
Mhm.
I think, can be spoken than time heals all wounds.
To a certain extent,
Yeah.
there's always
There's always scars.
Scars.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that remind you of
Yeah.
not to do that anymore.
right.
But, you know, initially you.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of crazy. You know, you go into something, and it's kind of like you pay for your education, just like you pay for college if you went to college. I didn't go to college, but I got an education. I always thought that the artist was like the top of the food chain, but what I learned after all this is that the artist was pretty much at the bottom of the food chain
Mhm.
until they had hits.
Right.
Mhm.
They were like a stable.
Mm.
You know, and the attorneys, business affair guys
Right.
were the top of the food chain, you know, but sell some records and
You climb.
Bet on
you
something.
learn.
Yeah, it's
Hopefully.
so what's next? What are you gonna do now?
Drive up the turnpike.
Go home,
Route
send
18.
Charlie all kinds of nasty emails.
No.
What the hell do you think you do that for?
No, this is great. No, this is a great evening. What's next? I don't know, man. You know, I still sing. I still have my mortgage notes. Notes to pay can pay the mortgage.
They're always sour.
No, they're good. Certain notes, you know, I still have my voice. And whatever comes at this point, I'm not like, you know, I'm realistic.
Right.
Pretty much I have to be, you know, and if I get called to do the national anthem for the
Mm.
For the Knicks?
anybody, you know, I used to go down to Somerville and sing the Patriots.
Oh yeah, the baseball
Somerset.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now there's, you know, the first couple of years I would just say, yeah, I'll come
TD
down and
Bank.
do it. Yeah.
TD
I used to do
Bank,
that for
yeah.
fun before they had people doing it. And but you know, I don't know at this point. You know, at this point, you have to be realistic.
Yeah.
At this point,
But the great
about
thing
you?
is me. Well, we got this tour coming up in the UK. I'll have a new Radio XL record next year.
Beautiful.
Probably a record with Punky and Frank. What it's going to be called yet is to be determined. And then looking forward to getting this label off the ground. We got a lot of really, really cool projects. We have a huge archive of stuff to go through because Alan, who actually does the mastering and stuff for it, has done over 15,000 records and has got such an archive of material. A lot of really cool stuff that people don't even know he has.
Right.
Like the Glenn Burton thing will be very cool because we've got all the early demos from before Talking in Code and Heroes and Zeros and stuff that no one's ever heard, and I don't even think Glenn's heard since he did them some 25, 30 years ago. So there's a lot of cool stuff like that, a lot of archive stuff. We've got some really cool jazz stuff. We have a Gil Evans record. Yeah, Joe, you got to hear this. This is which is actually, I know we don't have much time left, but Gil Evans obviously passed away, and his sons are working on doing the record. It's unfinished, never before heard Gil Evans stuff, but he had all the charts and everything written.
Oh wow!
So the sons went
So you
in
can
and
follow
finished
it.
and
Yeah.
finish it, and it's just I've heard of it. It's just it's amazing.
That's great.
So lots of cool stuff like that coming up.
Great, Charlie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. They're always great to see you.
Joe, thank you, man.
thank you.
Always a pleasure. It's been way too long, buddy, since we hung out. I appreciate you guys making the drive down here. Again, that's Joe Sarasano, Silver Condor, Studio Cuts, Rarities, and Live Across America. And you can look him up at Joe
Yep.
Sarasano.
It's posted on our event.
site.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
All right. Next week, we got Michael Patrick coming in. His first brand new studio material has been released in 7 years.
Nice.
So, Michael, it's probably been about that long since he's been on the program. So it'll be good to see Michael. Again, thank you so much, man. Thank you,
you, Dan.
studio audience.
Woo!
All right. Until next week, rock on.
Okay.
Write it down
All
for
right.
me.
There you go.
Because I'll mess it up. Tell me what to say. You're listening to?
This is Joe Sarasano.
You're listening to my friend Danny.
That's it. Perfect. Rock on radio.
Oh, it says right on this.
But yeah, if I can get 150 pages. Yeah, I was telling him today. I thought I gotta really start sitting down. I bought a little Bluetooth keyboard for my iPad, so I can wherever I am around the house, rather than have to go. I'll put something. Just yeah, so I can because things go. You know, I've got the. I think I have the for now. I have the intro. There I was laying on my back.
He's ready whenever.
Having been hit with a line. That's what happened. I couldn't catch my breath.
I read my writing,
I gave him a pen.
but can you read that?
Yeah, yeah. Hello. Whenever you want to, do you do a 1, 2, 3, 4? Or, okay. Hi, this is Joe Sarasano, and you are listening to my friend Danny Coleman on Rock On Radio.
One take one.
Even when I don't get paid. Great. This is a vape. Vape. It's like I basically smoke the stuff I can't eat. I smoke. It's like really birthday cake.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not smoke. It's like a vape.
Yeah.
That's simple
You
glycerin.
know how nice it is?
Wow.
Isn't it neat?
You want to do one, Charlie?
Yeah, I can do it, sure.
Do you need
Um,
Smell the cotton candy. You can
All right.
modify whatever you want.
This is Charlie Calvin. You're listening to Rock On Radio with Danny Coleman. Cool.
You want to do one more for him?
Yeah, we want.
Do
Okay.
do the city band.
What's that?
I'll write it down.
Well, because that'll like before I play some of the songs, like I'll do the program. You know what I mean? So
Oh, okay.
they're listening
Right.
to.
Just City of
Yeah,
Angels
Kevin's a
Radio?
good guy.
Or how do you want it? What do you
Sure.
want? City of Angels Radio?
And what's City of Angels?
They're a drug and alcohol.
We have guide people in the treatment. Like Danny's my next project.
Good luck with that one, Art. Yeah, that's what they talk about.
I drink. I'm good at it.
He's a girl.
My camera. I like beer. You like beer? I like beer. Okay, we all like beer. I like beer. You tell me when, but I've banned the beer for 10 years. And Jameson. This is Joe Cirasano, and you are listening to City of Angels Radio. Good? Is that good enough? Okay.
And I did post your links, both of them, on the
Great.
event. So
Great.
if you want to share
Thanks,
that out,
man.
you know,
Yes.
over there. And any
Thank
pictures that I took,
Thank you.
and you want to
Can I have
grab,
this?
feel free.
Okay.
They're all out
Yeah, I
there.
think I like most of
Good.
them. I kept seeing.
So how many
them, so I'm
people
like,
listen?
yeah,
Do you know which, how many?
Over 100.
Minimum of over 100, yeah.
And it's like,
over 300 last year.
really?
Well, it still says who you are.
That adds
Yeah,
up.
like, well, it's my
Pardon?
That's just on this station.
Right.
And that's what we're doing it live. I mean, what we do is like, I record all this.
And then
so
you
it'll go
post
up
it.
on our on-demand library and it will share it across social media.
Right. I got to put
And
this
then
up.
I got 8 affiliates. I got a couple in the UK, a couple in Canada,
That's cool.
I sent you
and
from
like 6 across the country that I sent it to.
Charlie and I share a page.
And it gets re-aired there, so.
Like,
you know.
Now, is there a link to the show that I could put on
He does
Facebook
also, on your feet, so you can do, so I sent the message.
and on my website?
Danny was sending messages, I'm like, did you see this? He's driving, I'm like, I was
An
on.
audio file.
Yeah. I mean, I know a computer enough to do that.
I really.
My sons know it a lot better than me. Okay. Cool. Yeah, send me all the stuff that all the links. I appreciate it. Cool.
He does it.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, like, yeah, we, some new
You go
cars,
back-
we have new
Yeah,
cars,
where's
we
it
have
at?
new cars, you know, confirmation, communion,
I'll be right- I'll use the bathroom.
he does it all.
Oh, okay.
So the sound.
Here we are here, like, you know, movies
Well,
in
good.
the UK, it'll be
Cool.
pictures of us.
It says lady,
You know,
so
he'll
it's
take
driving
the
me
pictures
nuts
of my
because I
phone. I have a very different phone than he does. He's got a basic smartphone, I've got an actual phone.
What was it doing? Just like the mics from the
He'll
camera
take pictures,
originally, or?
and then
Yeah, it was automatically like kicking.
they go to my Google Drive, and then he'll do the whole Facebook thing. from my
Uh,
phone. Like, he wanted to buy his phone for like $30 or whatever, but he's like, you guys, well, it's expensive phones.